I hadn't dreamed in over a year. Not properly. At least, not that I could remember. When I finally started dreaming again, I thought it would be a relief, like getting a part of myself back that had been numbed out by years of insomnia, stress, and whatever cocktail of antidepressants I'd spent most of my 30s bouncing between. But then the knocking started. 3 knocks. Always 3. Always at 3:13 a.m. The dream was simple. Too simple. I'd be lying in bed, my bed, in my apartment, in exact detail, and I'd hear it. Knock, knock, knock. Always the same rhythm. The kind that doesn't ask for permission. It expects a response. I'd sit up in bed, heart in my throat, staring at the door. And then I'd wake up. Same spot, same bed, but wide awake. And it would be 3:13 a.m. on the dot. I brushed it off the next day. Just a dream. Just a coincidence. I was still dreaming. That had to be a good thing, right? But that night, the same thing happened. Same dream. Same bed. Same knock. Same time. 3:13 a.m. And this time, I didn't just hear it. I felt it. The vibration of the knock traveled through the floor into the bones of my legs. Like it was real. By the 3rd night, I was afraid to go to sleep. But exhaustion always wins. And when it came, the dream unfolded like muscle memory. Only this time, something changed. In the dream, after the knocking, I whispered aloud, "Who is it?" And something answered. A whisper, muffled behind the door. "You know me." I woke up choking on my own breath. 3:13 a.m. The clock flashed in the dark. And I swear, just for a second, I heard the creak of the hallway floor outside my bedroom. I live alone. That morning, I checked the front door. Everything looked normal, except for the smudge. A faint, greasy palm print on the inside of the door, like someone had pushed it open and then closed it behind them. I hadn't touched the door all night. I stood there staring at it for nearly an hour. Then I scrubbed it away with bleach and paper towels. But even as I did, I knew I'd see it again. That night, I dreamed again. Same knock. Same time. This time, I stood up. I walked to the door. My hand reached for the knob. I didn't want to, but I couldn't stop it. As I touched the doorknob, the dream collapsed like someone pulling a plug. I woke up gasping, cold sweat clinging to my skin. The blanket had fallen off the bed. My hand still hovered in the air, reaching toward nothing. The clock read 3:13 a.m. I started keeping a journal, not because I thought it would help, but because something told me to. Like I had to document it. I wrote every detail, every sound, every second of that recurring dream. I started recording audio beside my bed using an app on my phone. The next morning, I played the audio. It was static for a long time. Then, at exactly 3:13 a.m., there was 3 clear knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Then my voice, "Who is it?" But I never said that aloud while recording. Then the whisper, "You know me." I couldn't stay home. I booked a night at a cheap motel 30 minutes out of town. No chance of déjà vu if I wasn't in my own bed, right? I lay on the stiff mattress, staring at the water-damaged ceiling, watching the clock tick toward 3 o'clock. When it hit 3:13, I was awake. The phone rang. A landline on the bedside table. 3 rings. I didn't pick it up. Back home. Same dream. Only now the knock was louder, more impatient. When I looked through the peephole in the dream, I didn't see anyone. Just darkness. Not hallway lights. Not even blackness. An absence. As if the door opened into something that shouldn't exist. I woke up with blood in my nose and a sharp pain in my left ear. The audio from that night captured my voice speaking to someone. Not yet. I'm not ready. Then silence. I called my therapist. Told her I was having sleep-related hallucinations. She asked if I was under stress. Who isn't? I didn't tell her about the handprint, or the voice, or the fact that I was starting to lose track of time during the day. Moments where I'd space out, then find myself standing in front of the door, hand hovering near the knob. Once I blinked and realized I had already opened it, just a crack. I slammed it shut, but I didn't remember doing it. Today, I installed a camera facing my front door. Motion sensor. Night vision. HD. That night, I went to bed earlier than usual. Woke up at 3:13 a.m., of course. Immediately pulled up the footage on my phone. There I was, sound asleep. Then, at 3 hours, 12 minutes, and 58 seconds, I sat up, stood up, walked to the door, opened it, whispered something I couldn't hear, and then closed the door. Went back to bed. I have no memory of it, but the footage is real. I saved it. The worst part? After I shut the door, someone on the other side knocked back. 3 times. I watched the footage a dozen times. Me, walking in a sleep stupor to the door, opening it, speaking, then returning to bed like nothing happened. But it was the knock after I closed the door that haunted me. It was real, loud enough to shake the camera slightly. 3 solid thuds, slow, almost disappointed. Knock, 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 and then nothing. I didn't sleep that night. Not truly. I sat in the living room with the lights on, watching the door. Even then, I swear just once, I heard it creak. I took the camera footage to my friend Nate. He's a videographer, the kind of person who can spot deep fakes, fake artifacts, and glitch edits with his eyes closed. He watched the footage and then just sat in silence. Then he looked at me and said, "I don't know how to tell you this, but that knock after you shut the door, it doesn't bounce off the hallway." "What do you mean?" "It doesn't echo the way it should. There's no source to the sound. It's like it's being implied, like your apartment itself is imagining it." He tried to laugh it off, but I could tell he didn't want to touch the footage again. The door had new marks on it. 3 scratches, low down near the base. Shallow but fresh. I hadn't noticed them before. They weren't there in the footage, but they were there now. The dreams changed. Same knocking. Same 3:13 a.m. But now I'd already be standing at the door when the dream started. Sometimes the dreamy would say, "She's back again." Other times I'd be whispering, "Don't open it this time." One night, I had the same dream 4 times in a row. Every time I'd stop just short of opening the door. Then I started to hear another sound. Scratching. Inside the dream. From within the walls. I started hallucinating. I'd see shadows under the door when I was fully awake. Hear faint knocking sounds while brushing my teeth or showering. I even began to feel something brush past me when I crossed the hallway in the dark. Once I turned on all the lights, threw open the door, and screamed, "What do you want from me?" Silence, until I turned around and saw that the inside of the door now had writing on it. Words that weren't there before, in tiny, childlike handwriting. "Let me in this time." I got a call from my therapist. I had missed 2 appointments in a row. I didn't even remember booking the second one. She asked if I was okay. I told her the truth. Everything. The dreams. The knocking. The waking hallucinations. The footage. Even the writing on the door. I expected her to recommend inpatient treatment. Instead, she went quiet. Then she said something I'll never forget. I've had patients talk about dreams like this before. What? The knocking, the door, the whispering voice. Most of them ended up hospitalized. One committed suicide, and one just disappeared. I asked my building manager if there had been any other tenants who reported strange events. He laughed it off until I mentioned dreams. Then his smile dropped. He asked if I'd ever met Unit 3B. There is no Unit 3B. The building skips from 3A to 3C. Apparently, it used to exist. A young woman named Marla Hemsworth lived there. She died in a fire. Her door was locked from the inside. The coroner said she was found pressed against it, fingernails torn, as if she'd been trying to claw her way out. That night, in the dream, I opened the door. I don't know why. I just did. There was a woman standing there, face partially obscured by long, wet hair, eyes completely white. She raised her hand and pointed at me, then said, "You left me." I slammed the door, but she didn't knock. Not that night. Instead, I woke up to find my front door slightly ajar. I've started locking the bedroom door too. It doesn't help. The knocking has changed. Now it's inside the dream and outside the dream. Sometimes it's coming from a floor, sometimes from inside the closet, and once from beneath the bed. I don't know what's real anymore. The footage from last night showed something new. At exactly 3:13 a.m., my bedroom door opened slowly. I didn't move. I was completely still in bed, but the door opened itself. And just before the footage corrupted, right before the feed cuts to black, I saw a shadow step into the room. It was me, or something that looked like me. I don't know if I'm awake. I don't know if I'm writing this, or dreaming that I'm writing this. Everything is blurring now. I don't remember the last time I had a normal sleep, or a day without hearing the knock, whether asleep or not. This morning, the entire apartment smelled like smoke, but nothing was burning. No fires, no open windows, just the acrid scent of something long extinguished. The dreams are no longer dreams. They're continuations. No reset. Every time I fall asleep, I'm back at the door. The same hallway. The same flickering light bulb above. The same sound of breathing behind the wood. And now, when I open the door, I don't see a hallway. I see a mirror, but it doesn't show me. It shows her. Marla. Burned. Decayed. Half her face gone. But she's smiling. The smile was the worst part. I try not to look, but the moment I turned away in the dream, I felt her breathe into my ear. It's not a door. It's a mouth. I haven't stopped shaking since. I found new scratches this morning. On the walls now. Thin and deep. Vertical. Like fingernails dragged down at speed. My neighbor, Ms. DaCosta, the one across the hall, was found dead. I saw the police outside her apartment. No details released, but one of the EMTs looked shaken. I overheard him whisper to a cop. She tore her own ears off, tried to dig them out with a spoon. That night, the dream was different. Instead of the knock, I heard sobbing, coming from the inside of the closet. In the dream, I opened the closet door, and the sobbing stopped. Inside was a mirror, and written on the glass in condensation, "You heard her. Why didn't you help?" I don't remember waking up anymore. Sometimes I'm just in a different place. Today I woke on my balcony barefoot, hands raw and bleeding. The railings were scratched with a single phrase, repeated over and over. You opened IT, but I didn't. Did I? I try not to sleep. I set alarms every 15 minutes. I drank caffeine until my stomach turned. But the dream found a way. I passed out in the shower. And this time, the dream started before I even stood up. I was on the other side of the door. I was knocking 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. Then I heard my own voice on the other side say, "Not yet. I'm not ready." Then silence. I recorded everything. Cameras in every room. Audio recorders on loop. But they're all glitching now. The footage skips. Time loops. At exactly 3:13 a.m., the image goes black for 11 seconds. Then resumes with me asleep in bed, even if I was awake and recording in another room. It's rewriting reality, or my perception of it. I found a tape recorder in my kitchen drawer. I don't remember buying it. It had one message recorded on it, time-stamped 3:13 a.m. A whisper, I'm already inside. The knocking is now constant. Dream or not, I hear it on walls, on windows, inside the fridge, in floorboards. Once, I heard it under the skin of my own arm, like something tapping from within. I woke up in a stairwell I've never seen before. Concrete, cracked, endless, no doors, just a rotary phone sitting on the landing. It rang 3 times. I didn't answer. I waited. Then I heard it behind me. The sound of breathing. Not close, not far, just enough to let me know I was not alone. I tried one last thing. I visited the archives. Public records. Marla Hemsworth was real. Apartment 3B. Burned alive. 2006. She had a younger brother, Adrian, but I never had a sister. Did I? I haven't left my apartment in days. I barely know what time it is anymore. The clocks aren't right. I'll check my phone and it says 9:42 p.m. Then I look again and it's 3:13 a.m. The knocking happens even when I blink. I don't mean fall asleep. I mean blink. A single second of darkness and I'm there. Back in the hallway. The dream hallway. The bulb swinging. The door in front of me. My hand raised. 3 knocks. It's always me knocking now. Today, I found something I can't explain. In the hallway outside my apartment, a door that shouldn't exist. Set between 3A and 3C. No label. No handle. Just smooth wood. Old. Rotten smelling. I touched it, and instantly, I was back in a dream. But this time, it wasn't the usual apartment. I was inside a house I've never seen before. Narrow halls. Wallpaper peeling like sunburnt skin. Every surface breathing ever so slightly. I'm calling it the house between sleep and waking. Every time I fall asleep, now, even unintentionally, I'm there. There are doors lining every corridor. Thousands of them. All different shapes and materials, each one with a name carved into it. Some are names I recognize, people I knew in passing, kids from school, an old teacher, one neighbor, many names I don't know, but one of them is mine. It was on a black door, wet to the touch. I've started mapping the house in my journal. Every corridor I remember, every turn. It's impossible geometry. Loops, dead ends that change. There are staircases that go both up and down at once. Windows that show nothing but my own bedroom, but not how it is now. It's burned, blackened, melted. I think it's Marla's. Or maybe mine. I heard someone running behind one of the doors. The footsteps were heavy. Panicked. Then came a knocking. From inside the door. 3 knocks. Then a muffled scream. I moved on. I didn't open it. I knew if I did, something would follow me out. The dreams don't end. They layer. I'll fall asleep in the house and wake up in another version of it. Deeper. Stranger. The doors become more organic. Some are made of flesh. One pulsed as I walked by. Another bled when I touched the knob. I tried to wake up. I tore at my arms. Screamed. No use. Not until I heard a familiar voice say, "You always find your way back, brother." She was waiting for me. Marla, whole this time, unburned, standing by my door in the house between. She didn't smile. She just said, This isn't your first life, Adrian. You keep waking up in the wrong place. I asked her what that meant. She walked away. Every step she took left a shadow footprint, and I swear, it moved after she did. I saw myself in the house, another version of me, sitting at a desk, scribbling in a journal. He didn't look up, even when I screamed. He just kept writing. I tried to read the journal over his shoulder. It said, "Don't turn around. If you see her full face, you'll never wake up again." I turned around anyway. I woke up screaming, nose bleeding, skin under my nails. The door was open, the real one. Someone had been inside my apartment. Nothing was stolen, but the carpet near my bed was wet, and it reeked of burnt hair and roses. Everything from the dreams is starting to leak out. My apartment no longer feels like mine. It's off. Corners curve where they should be straight. The windows show my street, but nothing ever moves outside. And the mirror? The reflection doesn't match. It blinks late. The knock didn't come last night. Instead, I heard a voice. "You've seen the doors. You know what's next." I whisper back, "I don't understand." She replied, "You're not supposed to understand. You're supposed to choose." I found a second door inside the house. Not the in-between house, the real one. In the back of my closet. A small wooden door, 3 feet high, covered in symbols. It wasn't there yesterday. I knelt in front of it. I swear I heard breathing behind it. And then, knock, knock, knock. I didn't open the little door in the closet. I couldn't. I blocked it with furniture. Nailed it shut. Poured salt over the floorboards. Called in an electrician and lied. Said I heard rats in the wall. He took one look and said, "That's not a wall. That's an air return. Or should be. But it's sealed from the other side." What other side? That night, I dreamed I was a child again, sitting in a closet, knees to chest. From the dark came the knock. Slow, measured. Knock, knock, knock. I whispered, "Go away." And from the other side, my own voice answered, "You invited me." The names on the doors in the house between sleep and waking are now fading. They vanish behind smears, as if someone wiped them away with wet hands. But one name keeps appearing, larger than the others. Adrian John Lorne each night. It's scrawled in a different way. Burned, etched, scratched, bleeding. Sometimes in red crayon, childlike and shaking. I had another dream. No, a memory. Me and a little girl. She was maybe 6. Curly hair. Holding a toy phone. She looked up at me and said, "You have to knock so they know you're real." Then she did it. Knock, knock, knock. I remember watching her do it on the wall of a burnt-down house. Marla. It was her. But I wasn't a child in the memory. I was me now. Watching. Knowing. My therapist isn't answering her phone. Her voicemail is corrupted, just static. But if I slow it down and reverse it, there's a whisper. "Why did you knock? Why did you knock? Why did you knock?" Over and over, layered beneath the distortion. I blacked out of the grocery store. They found me standing in front of the freezer section, staring into the reflection on the glass. Mouth open, hands outstretched, whispering, "Let me in, let me in." I don't remember any of it, but the footage showed something terrifying in the reflection. There was no store, just a long hallway, flickering light, and a door with my name on it. The scratches have returned, not just on the walls now, but on my skin. Long, parallel lines. Down my arms, across my back, as if something has been pulling me through. But I've never felt it happen, only woken up to find the wounds. My blood smells like smoke now. The phone rang. The rotary phone from the dream. Except it was on my kitchen table. Real. Not mine. I don't own one. It rang once. Twice. 3 times. Then silence. I didn't answer, but I listened to the dial tone afterward. It whispered, "You knock first." The girl appears more often now. Sometimes at the end of the hallway. Sometimes outside the window. Always silent. Just watching. Until last night, when she finally spoke again. "Do you remember the fire?" I said no. She said, "You said it. You locked the door. You left me behind." I had a dream within a dream. In the first, I saw my childhood home, but wrong. Rooms too long. Windows showing static. My father stood in the doorway with no face. He handed me a match and said, "You know what you have to do. She doesn't belong here." In the second dream, I was holding the match, standing outside a door. Marla's door. I struck the match. The flames never stopped. I no longer know if I'm Adrian. I find photos of people I don't remember. Letters in handwriting that matches mine, but says things I'd never say. One page, dated 2006, reads, "She won't stop knocking." I let her in once, and now I live on the other side. It was signed, Yell. I was standing in front of a mirror, practicing not blinking, trying to catch my reflection moving wrong. And then it did. It leaned closer and whispered, "You opened the first door. You knocked. You started all of this." Then it smiled, a perfect copy of my face, and added, "And when you die, I get to wake up." I haven't slept for nearly 3 days now. Every time I start to nod off, I feel her. Not see. Feel. The way you feel an elevator cable creak too long. The pressure before lightning hits. The hush right before someone whispers your name in the dark. She's here. Everywhere. I blacked out twice today. Once in the bathtub. Water freezing cold. Once in the hallway, pressed against the wall, whispering to a door that no longer exists. The little door in the closet is gone. Now there's a larger one, 6 feet tall, seamless black, no knob, no hinges, just pulsing like it breathes. And there's something behind it, not knocking now, scraping, slow, circular, like nails across wood in hypnotic rhythm. I pressed my ear to it and heard what I feared most, breathing. My own, but not from me. I had a dream, even though I was awake. I was back in the house between sleep and waking. But this time I wasn't alone. The halls were full of people, silent, unmoving, all of them standing in front of their doors, all of them staring at me. One by one they pointed, behind me. I turned. She was there. But not Marla. Something wearing her skin. A thing that had used her name to get through. A thing that knew how to knock. It happened. The knock. But not on the front door. Not on the closet. Inside my head. 3 deep, sickening thuds. Like fists on bone. And when I closed my eyes, I saw my own skull. Lit from within, cracks forming at the temples. I screamed. But the sound that came out wasn't mine. She spoke again, clearly, coldly. "You brought me back. You called across the dark. You knocked. And then, now it's your turn to stand on the other side. The mirror no longer reflects me. Instead, it shows the hallway from the dream. Door after door after door. At the far end, mind. The name etched in fire. It's opening. There's something walking out. It walks like me, tilts its head like me, but the smile is wrong. It sees me watching, and winks. I fell asleep, only for a second, and in that second, she got closer. She whispered, "The door swings both ways now. When you sleep, I wake, and when I dream, you suffer." I woke up sobbing, blood on my pillow, bite marks in my tongue. and my bedroom door open again. I tried to run, left the apartment, down the hall, into the street barefoot. It was empty, no cars, no sky, just walls. I ran for hours and never reached a corner. The city isn't real anymore. Or maybe I never left the house between. Back home, I think. The clocks are blank. My phone doesn't work. My laptop is filled with one document. Just one line, repeated endlessly. Knock, knock, knock. I tried deleting it. It doubled. The closet door creaked open by itself. Inside was the rotary phone. Old, beige, dusty, same as the one from the dream. It rang 3 times. I stared at it. It stopped, then rang once more. This time I answered. There was no voice, just footsteps approaching. From behind me, the footsteps stopped, breathing on my neck. Then a whisper, clear, inside my skull. Your life was the dream. This is your awakening. You knocked. Now knock again. Knock, Adrian. Knock. I fell to the floor, sobbing. Something took my hand and knocked for me. 3 times. There's a knock in the walls every 66 seconds now. Precise. Measured. And I can feel my heartbeat syncing with it. It's not my rhythm anymore. It's hers. I saw her full face. Finally. Not Marla. Something older. Her mouth stretched the width of her jaw. Teeth like broken piano keys. Eyes like oil over fire. She leaned close and whispered, "You'll keep knocking? In someone else's dreams. And one night, they'll open for you." If you're reading this, if this journal reaches you, if someone knocked in your dream last night, don't open the door. Don't speak. Don't ask who it is. Because once you do, she'll remember your name. And once she remembers your name, she never forgets.